Hey guys, JCC2224 here, and welcome to the review of the Hasbro Transformers Dark of the Moon Human Alliance Soundwave. I absolutely freaking love this figure. It's so fantastic, and
This is a knockoff figure.
What's that?
Yes, it's a knockoff.
Was it KO? Was it a knockoff?
Oh.
Was it a freaking knockoff? What is this, a joke?
It's a knockoff.
What is this, stupid? Apparently this is a knockoff, guys. I totally didn't know that. I totally didn't see the title of the eBay listing I bought that clearly said it was a knockoff. Silly me. But yeah, this is indeed a knockoff. Now, how do I feel about this thing? Well, I like it. I really, really like it, and I really feel like if you want the Human Alliance Soundwave, if you really can't afford the outrageous prices it's going for on eBay, then I would say this is certainly a figure to pick up. I mean, I would say it's worth buying, because it does have issues, it does have some slight stability and some tolerance issues. I would mostly say tolerance issues, but overall, it satisfies me. I overall very much like it. However, there is one instance of a breakage on it. Now, right when I said that, I'm pretty sure most of you just started to immediately get your hearts beating and your temper starting to go a little agitated. Well, don't worry, guys, because it was on this guy. The thing people don't really care about. Good old Dylan Gould. We'll take an individual look at him later, but before we get on to those, the Laserbeak and Dylan Gould, we will take a look at the Soundwave figure itself, by first, of course, observing the vehicle mode. Overall, this vehicle mode satisfies me. I really don't have any issues with this vehicle mode whatsoever. It really just has a lot of nice looks to it, and I just can't get over the nice details that Hasbro/Takara had put on. It just looks really, really good. I can't explain enough how much I like the vehicle mode. However, I do have an issue. Do you see that right up there where the door is just kind of slightly separating? Yeah, it's kind of bothering me, and that's because per many of these knockoffs, it does have an issue where the door, well, it flat out just doesn't want to stay up. That really is a problem for me. Now, my other door, the one on the left, it stays up just fine. However, this one, it could use some help. And I tried my best to try to get it as sealed as possible. However, if you look along the sides, it just looks somewhat off, and it doesn't look like it's ever going to seal properly. It's irritating. It really is. There's probably some sort of fix for it, but I really just don't have the solution right now. So now that we have most of the points of contention on the vehicle mode covered, let's kind of get to the point where we transform the thing. Now, as I'm transforming it, I really do want to show off a couple of tolerance issues that I have. One of which is only really an issue when it goes to robot to vehicle. So I'm going to have to kind of transform it back right after I transform it. So let's get into it.
No prisoners, only trophies.
So here's Dark of the Moon Human Alliance Soundwave in his robot mode, and I have to say, the overall aesthetic of this guy is really, really nice. Comparing him to the Deluxe, I do have to say I prefer the overall look of this. Now, the Dark of the Moon Soundwave design, you either love it or you hate it. Me personally, I kind of love it. It's different from the G1, but for me, I think it just works. I really, really like it, even though I think he could have been blue. That would have been really cool. This robot mode overall is very, very successful, and I can't get enough of how nice the look is to it. Now, you may kind of have issues with the proportions. Some people don't like the really skinny legs compared to the really beefy arms. Me personally, it just kind of adds to the whole Dark of the Moon Transformers movie aesthetic where the Decepticons are more monstrous. And I like the monstrous design of the Soundwave. As you saw, he does have an articulated jaw, which is something I am a huge fan of. And the posability and articulation for this guy for the figure itself is really nice. However, when it comes to the tolerance issues, there are problems. Looking at the legs here, you can really see that, well, they're a bit loose. Now, the figure overall can stand up just fine. However, you may have to work around some things here and there. I myself, I did a really simple mod to the hips, where I just added some black electrical tape to the hips, and it just thickened it enough as to where it would be stable enough as to where it'll stay up. That's my broken English. Hope you enjoyed this English lesson from JC24. Have a good day. Looking at the details on this Dark of the Moon Soundwave figure, they are absolutely superb. Even considering it is a knockoff, I feel like this knockoff succeeded in adding every single paint detail and making sure it is nice and crisp. There really isn't a single point of paint on this figure where I feel like it's really lacking, or where I think it's not good. Now, of course, for the base figure itself, people do have the complaint of, why is it just a gray plastic? It really, really, really should be a nice shiny silver. But honestly, if it was a nice shiny silver, it would be a lot more expensive, and probably would not have fit the original $30 Dark of the Moon Human Alliance price point. So as I did state, this figure does come with a couple accessories. He does come with Dylan Gould, which is certainly a treat. Dylan Gould did indeed suffer from a breakage, which, it's not that bad. Taking a look here, it's, well, and actually is kind of bad, scratch that. His arm is about to freaking tear off. Now, am I going to tear it off right now? No, I'm not, because I want to keep it on him as long as I can. So overall, the paint on Dylan Gould is really nice. I know this is a knockoff, and even for the knockoff, the paint is nice, for how small this thing is. Overall, I think it gets the job done, and for how articulated it is, I am pretty happy. I mean, it sits in the cards, it's fine. I mean, what's the problem? That's the only job that this figure's got, and he does it okay. Taking a look at the Dark of the Moon Laserbeak design, it's certainly something else. Yeah, some people like it, some people dislike it. Me, myself, I'm indifferent. It looks just fine. The head sculpt on this thing, I do gotta say, I'm not a huge fan. It looks like a very odd three-toed foot, something you would see on some weird robot you'd see in the dollar store. And it really doesn't look like a beak. However, it looks nice overall. Now, the stability of this figure, I do have to say, it's okay. The ball joints are a little loose, and even though he can shoot the missile and the missile does stay in, it is very hair-triggered. I really don't like missiles, personally, so, I mean, it kind of stays in robot mode, so it's no problem. Laserbeak's interaction with Soundwave is absolutely amazing. I really like how they did this. I wish he could perch on the shoulder, however, he perches on the arm, which is, from what I recall, what he did in the movie. You simply just flip out the chair from the arm, and then you can see the little clip right there. You tab him on, boom, there you go. You got Laserbeak. He's on his arm. End of story. Deal with it. So yeah, overall, the Dark of the Moon Human Alliance Soundwave. It's pretty nice. I feel like it's a worthy addition to a Dark of the Moon or Transformers movie collection. It is a knockoff, yes, and there is an official one, but those prices, though, those freaking prices! Woo! But yeah, overall, I feel like for a knockoff, and for the price I got it for, which was $33, I feel like I got a pretty good deal. I don't feel ripped off like I did on my Masterpiece knockoffs, and overall, I can't recommend this enough. Yes, the legs do have issues, however, as you can see, he's standing just fine. On freaking 3 toes, dude. He's running right now on 3 toes, and he's just fine. One odd thing to note on this knockoff is his feet. If you look very closely, you can see that the toes that are outward on each foot, they're not touching the ground. Yeah, for some reason, the toes were somehow shortened on the knockoff. Overall, the toes do mess with the stability a little bit, but overall, his stance is just fine. So yeah, guys, that has been my review of the Hasbro, well, I should say, Chinese knockoff, wink wink, of the Dark of the Moon Human Alliance Soundwave. It's a nice knockoff, and personally, if you feel like you can't or don't want to make the investment on a pretty overpriced figure, then go ahead and get the knockoff. I feel like it's really worth it, and it is a nice addition to the collection. Have a good day, transform, and roll out. Hey guys, I'm still working on the intro. Give me a break. Give me a break.